In this video, we are going to learn how any networking device is configured and how it is protected by setting up local logins or setting up passwords and secrets on that particular networking device. So I'll just add a laptop, which is my end user device here, and I'll take a switch 2901. All right, and there are two methods by using which you can configure any router or any switch. First is by taking console access, and the second is by using remote access protocols. Remote access protocols like Telnet or SSH. All right. Telnet is not used as of now, as it is less secure than SSH. It is not secure at all because it is not the connection. The Telnet connection is not at all encrypted, whereas in case of SSH, it is encrypted. We'll get into that in deeper. Let's see how to take a console access of this router. And when you take the console access of any router from your laptop or any end user device, you will be able to see this. This is what appears on your screen. All right, now let's learn about the console port. So okay, in the physical mode, I'll just zoom this a little bit. This is the back side of your router, and this is your console port, which is an RJ45 port. And here in your PC you have a serial DB9 serial port where you connect that serial wire, and the other end of that wire is connected to the console port, this one. All right, after this is set, you know what, let's simulate that. I just add a console connection from this laptop's RS232 port to this router's console port. All right, now I'll just open this PC, and in desktop there is terminal emulator program. These are the default settings which any terminal emulator program should have when you're taking the console access of any networking device. So the baud rate or bits per second should be 9600. Alright, data bits should be 8, parity none, stop bits 1, and flow control none. This is perfect. Now when I click OK, you see I have loaded this router CLI into my laptop. You can configure this. Enable config terminal. Everything works like the same. Alright, I'll just close this. And in real life scenario, I mean in enterprise networks, when you have live gear, uh, there are other programs which are used to take the console access. For configuring the console access, there are terminal emulator programs like or tools like PuTTY. So if you don't know about PuTTY, this is a software where you can do the same thing. Just change it to serial, find out your COM port where you have connected your on which COM port you have connected your serial line. Change the speed here, and when you click on this open, it will open up a terminal, and after some time it will load the router CLI like this. This whole thing will appear on your desktop, on your end user device, I mean. Alright, so if you haven't downloaded PuTTY, just search for PuTTY on the internet, and you can download it from here, from their official website. This is the standard version, and from this page you can download it for your for a particular architecture on your Windows device. Alright, so we have taken console access of this router, and yeah, one more thing, there's one more thing which I should mention here. and that is how to find out your COM port. Like, how would you know that on which COM port your serial line is connected? So in order to check that, you just have to go to device manager, open that, and in that, go to this ports tab, expand it a little bit, and you will see the connection here on which COM port it is connected. That's how you find your COM port, and then you use PuTTY to take the console access of your router. So let's move ahead. The second method is when your router is set. I mean, when you give some passwords and you secure your line modes, then after that you can implement these two protocols either together or any one of them. So to do that, we need to configure something which is known as line VTY. We need to configure this for the first 4 lines. So there are in all 16 virtual lines which exists in your networking device, but by default we are just configuring the first 5. So this is a command to enter into the line configuration mode for virtual lines. All right, we'll see that. Okay, now I'll just configure this router. I'll just add some passwords on this router. Okay, I'm establishing a connection again, and I'm inside this router now. Okay, to protect your enable mode, there's a command. You just need to specify enable and secret or password, whichever you prefer. So I'll just enter enable mode first, then configuration mode. Okay, enable, and okay, there are two methods to set a password. First is by using the password command. Second is by using secret command. All right, we'll see what is the difference between both of them. So a password is less secure than secret, because when you look at your configuration after you have, when I give enable password as a command, enable password, and for example I am giving it a password of 12345, let's say. So this password is going to be visible in my configuration, in my running configuration. So when I check my the configuration which is running on this router, this will be visible. But instead of this, if you use, I'll just undo that by using no enable password. That will remove it, and instead of using a password, I'll just set up a secret. Enable secret. Now what this thing does is that it encrypts these characters into a hash, and nobody can, for example, if somebody is at your shoulder, nobody will be able to understand what your secret is. Okay, so I've configured that, and now to check that, I just go to my configuration. So by clicking end, I come out of the configuration mode and show running configuration. This is a command which is used to see your running configuration, and in here, see, this is your secret. This is the 1 2 3 4 5 secret which you gave while configuring it, and it has encrypted it by using MD5 algorithm. This 5 denotes that. All right, for example, if you want to do the same thing with the password, you can use something like service password encryption. That can be used. configure terminal. I've entered into configuration mode again, and let's add a password as well. Enable password 12345, and okay, yeah, that is the thing. You can't have password and a secret, same password and secret. That is not allowed. So I'll just choose another one, 1234, and to hide this in my running configuration, I just use a command service password encryption. Now if I see my running configuration again, config do show. Okay, here I'm using do command because I'm inside my configuration mode right now, and show running configuration is enable mode command. So to execute it from any mode, basically you just have to add a do command in front of that. So yeah, here we go. Password, which is using MD7, and this is the encrypted hash of 1234 which you have entered. Okay, but still secret is more secure than this because there are tricks to reverse this encryption, to decrypt it basically. And when you there are a lot of online programs which do that. So basically you just insert this into um, any any online program that decrypts this back into the password which you have set. You know what, let's try that. Okay, let's try to crack it. mm, Encrypted password. Okay, I'll just copy this from here. Here you go. That is decrypted for type 7. Whereas in the case of type 5, it is really difficult and it takes a lot of time, and there's no guarantee that you'll uh, end up decrypting it completely. So this is really hard to decrypt. That's why we use this command. And enable password is not really used in enterprise networks these days because it's less secure. I'll just exit. Now I have set a password to the enable mode. Now let's do one thing. Let's secure our line con mode as well. Let's set a password to uh, the console access which we have taken. So what we have done here is, let's say for example you have ordered a router. You have ordered this 2901 router from any site, and it has just been shipped to you. You just open it up out of the box, and when you're trying to configure it, you just need this console cable, which is like DB9 on this end, DB9 connector on this end, and RJ45 on this end. When we unpack this router out of the box, initially we need to do this. We need to take the console access, and there is no password set on the console mode initially, so you're able to take this access like this. But once you do that, you uh, gave some basic configuration to it. Let's say for example you gave this a host name. Enable config terminal. For example, you gave it a host name router 1. Okay, and yeah, password we have set, password, not password, we have set a secret to the enable mode here. And let's do one thing. We'll set a password to the line con mode as well. Line con mode is a line configuration mode for console, for the console port. So for that, to getting into that, you need to be inside your configuration mode first, then go to line con 0. It will get you into line con mode. Alright, now you just have to set a password here. Password 2 3 4 5. That's it. And login. So it requires login while anybody is taking a console access. Again, I'll just exit out from here, end, and exit. Well, there is one more thing which we can see now. It is asking us for the enable password. All right, to save your configuration, you can there are two commands which you can run. Let's exit back to enable mode, and there's a command wr which builds your configuration and saves the running configuration into your startup configuration. So the main difference between both of these configurations is that running configuration is something which is running right now in your RAM, and um, the startup configuration is something which is not volatile. It is saved in your NVRAM. So your I'll just write it down here. This is an important point. Mm, Running configuration is saved to your DRAM or the dynamic RAM. Save to dynamic RAM, and startup config is saved to your non-volatile RAM. All right, just something to remember. Okay, so we have used this var command to build our configuration, and then what it did is it just saved the running configuration into the uh, startup configuration. All right, there's another method which you can use. You can directly copy the running configuration to your startup configuration. Destination file name, yes, and it has built. See, both of them are same thing. So I prefer this one because that is short. I'll just remove this cable now, and let's test that again. Now when we have set up our passwords, so we have two passwords which are set up. Sorry, one enable secret is set up on this router, so that whenever you try to enter the enable mode, it will ask you for that secret. And as you're taking the user access of this, as you're taking the console access of this router, you will be ending up in user mode, and that user mode is now um, secured by the password which you gave to the line con mode. In the line con mode, go to this laptop again, terminal. Okay, let's return to get started. And yes, this is asking you a password to enter into user mode now. This is because of the password which we set in the line con mode, line con 0 mode. um, 45. Okay, now I'll go for enable, and will ask me for the password again. Alright guys, we are into enable mode now, and let's do one thing. Let's remove this, let's remove both of these things, and let us set up um, a user login, which is also another method for protecting your networking device, protecting the enable mode and any mode, basically line mode, or the other one which we are about to see after this. So I'll go to a laptop again, and alright, to remove your secret which you have configured, this command is used. uh, Sorry, we'll have to go to the configuration mode first. Figure terminal, no secret, no enable secret. no enable secret. That will remove the previously configured secret on the enable mode. The next thing is we have also set up we also gave a password to the line con mode, so let's remove that as well by getting into line configuration mode, line con 0. Now we are to line configuration mode. Here um, execute the same thing, no password and no login as well. Done, it is removed. So to verify that, I'll just go to my enable mode again and show running configuration. Okay, enable password is still there, and the line con password has been removed. Okay, we had set up a password also, uh, so that so this is how it works when you remove the secret. So I'll just explain this in a bit. Um, just a second. So see this password was still there. When I was removing the secret, it was already removed, but I just forgot that I had put a password also there. So remove that. No enable password. Done. All that is removed. So show running configuration. See, there is no security here, no password or secret. Done. Exit. Now let's try that again. I'll remove this console cable again and connect it like it was before. Let's try the console access again now. This time, sorry, this time will not ask us for we are into user mode, directly entered into user mode. Enable config T. Alright, let's do one thing. Let's add a local login to this device. So to set up a local login on this device, you just need to implement a local login on this device. We need to provide the username and password or the secret in this configuration mode, like this. Username, Dimas, password or secret, any of them can work. 1 2 3 4 5. All right, done. Now this is now what just happened is in the local database of this router, it has a username Dimas and a secret which is assigned to that. So wherever we are going to implement this local login, it will ask us for this username and password and the secret to login. All right. So to set up that, we need to use a command which is login local, and this must be used in those particular modes. For example, to secure your enable mode, to secure your enable mode, it needs a separate password. It will need a secret or a password which is other than this username and secret. I don't know why this is the case with Cisco devices, but the thing with their enable mode, they try to protect their enable mode, and the password for that is usually different. I mean, you can't use a local login to get into um, enable mode. That is the case. So I'll just set up enable secret again. Enable secret 1 2 3 4 5 and enable. All right. Just exit. Let's see if it works or not. Enable 1 2 3 4. That's it. And let's enter configuration mode now. Now let's set up this thing, uh, this local username and secret. Let's implement that in our line configuration mode. So to do that, we'll just enter into line con 0, and there's this one command which we have to use here, so that for the protection of this mode, it will use this username and secret every time. So for that, login local is used. Done. I'll just launch this again. Exit. Okay. I'll do the same thing again. Now it is asking me for username and password. So username was Remus, password was 12345. Similarly, enable mode is also protected by this secret, and that's it. Now we have learned about the console access. Now let's set up the remote access protocols. So for that, let's learn about Telnet first, and then about the SSH. So I'll just remove this now because I think you guys have got the point. I will remove this laptop, and yeah, so basically when you click on this router, this is emulating the console access that you're taking of this device. All right, so whatever we did there is appearing here, and this is basically the emulation of console access. So let's set up remote access protocols. Let's set up telnet first. So for that we need to configure we need to add this username and password to line VTY. For that, need to enter the virtual lines mode, line VTY 0 to 4. So these are the first 5 lines, first 5 virtual lines. I'll enter into line VTY and login local. This login local will add this username and password to this to the line VTY. These 5 virtual lines. All right. You can also use password or secret here. That will also do the work, but we have to use the local logins now. So for that, login local. All right, we are set. All right, now we have set up our VTY lines. So now to take the telnet access of that, remotely access this router, I'll just add another end device here. Let's add a laptop, and let's connect that to the gig 0/0 interface. One thing you need to do here is you need to assign 1 second. You need to assign an IP address to this interface 0/0. So for that, gig 0/0 IP address 192.168. Let's give it 1.1 255.255.255.0 24-bit mask, and no shut. It is already on, but let's add a no shut again. Okay, I'll just close this, and let's try to take the remote access of a router. Telnet 192.168.1.1. Oh, actually we don't have assigned, we haven't assigned an IP address to this PC, so let's do that really quickly. 192.168.1.1. It's correct. Try that again, and it's open now. So there's one more thing. I just forgot to add an IP address to this device. That's why it failed first. You need to do that. All right. Username was Remus. Password was 12345. I mean, enable mode is also protected with a secret that is 12345. All right. We are into this router now, and all right. We have learned about Telnet protocol. SSH is very similar to this, but we have to set up the encryption first for SSH. Telnet has its own drawbacks, and that's why it is dropped by the industry right now. Nobody uses Telnet because it is least secure actually. So like for example, you're taking the remote access of this router from this laptop, and like if anybody tries to eavesdrop on this line, if they can intercept the connection which is going on. So whatever passwords and all, whatever username and password that I typed here would be catch it would be it can be catched in the middle. So that is a vulnerability, and that's why Telnet is not really used. It still exists in the Cisco's iOS, but nobody uses that. So let's learn about SSH. How to set up SSH, enable configuration terminal, sorry. And to set up an SSH, we need two things, which are second. SSH. We need a domain name, host name, and we also need to turn on the RSA algorithm and generates cryptographic keys. We need to do that. All right. So for that, let's get into the configuration mode. After that, I'll just go into the let's set up a host name for this router. I think the host name is router1, so we're good there. Let's add a domain name for that. IP domain name. Okay, domain name. Okay, this is my domain name, and after that, let's add some crypto keys here. Let's specify the version of SSH first. So we are going to use second version, or the SSH version 2 in this tutorial. So for that, IP SSH version 2, and we need to configure the keys first to turn this feature on. So for that, there's a command, crypto generate keys, crypto key generate RSA. Okay, this one option is available. RSA is an algorithm which we are going to use here to set up the encryption. And all right, it is asking us how many bytes of encryption is needed, how many bytes in the modulus are needed. So let's give it 768, as this version 2 requires at least 768 bits. So let's give him that. Let's give 800 otherwise. Okay, and it is creating it. It has created a key. All right. Now let's assign let's use the second version, that is enable. And let's do one more thing. uh, we can remove the telnet from line VTY, and let's tell that line VTY to just accept SSH communication. For that line VTY, the first 5 lines, transport mm, transport input SSH. So there are different options here. You can use all, and in all there are you can use SSH or telnet, both of any one of them. If you have configured all here, by default all is open. By default this all is configured here, but if you just want to use the SSH, then transport input SSH, this command should be given. And yes, let's exit and let's save this configuration. Do var done. Now what I'll do is I'll just try to okay, let's exit this. This is a console connection which is going on right now. Sorry, if we're on a telnet connection right now, and we've removed this. So let's do one thing. Let's exit out of here. Okay, the connection is closed. Alright, let's try to take the remote access of this router now using SSH protocol. So as we have set this up, and it is using transport input SSH now on line VT5 0 to 4, and it is also using login local. So we need to provide the local username while trying to SSH this router. The username is, just a second, I'll check that. Username is Rimas. So for that, just go to command prompt here, SSH -L 192.168.1.1. The password was 12345. Now we are into enable mode. Enable, which is also password protected. That is it. Now we have the remote access of that router.